My name is Yonut Sultana, and I'm a Salesforce developer with 3 years of experience on the Salesforce platform. And I currently work at IBM as a Salesforce developer. It all started 3 years ago, just before I finished my university. I found out about Salesforce from a colleague of mine who also found out about Salesforce from his uncle. At that time, I didn't know what Salesforce was, but I remember hearing the word development or developer, and that sparked an interest in me. I got hired 3 months later as a Salesforce administrator at a company named Boomforce, and that was my starting point. From the start, I knew I wanted to become a backend developer. That was clear to me. I was part of a team as eager as me to learn Salesforce development, and we were all quite new to the Salesforce ecosystem, and somehow we didn't knew what we're getting into. So being part of a team and also liking what I was doing was what kept me motivating during those years. The PD1 certification was the hardest for me. There were questions related to real life scenarios. If you plan to take this certification, you better go into the Java documentation and get the OOP principles right, because Apex is an OOP programming language, and it's like a little brother to Java. So yeah, I think the PD1 was the hardest for me. We mostly work in a team of developers, and in the morning, let's say we have a quick call where we state what have we done yesterday, for example, and what tasks are due for today. And yeah, you also get a lot of hands-on experience, like having the opportunity to write Apex classes, triggers, and that kind of stuff. I heard about Focus on Force from my manager at that time at Boonforce. So I've used Focus on Force on 4 out of 5 certifications. Let's say I cannot thank enough the staff behind Focus on Force, because you guys have a unique way of crafting study guides around each key topic. I've studied on Focus on Force for the administrator exam, platform app builder, community cloud exam. Now it's called experience cloud or something similar. And lately for the platform developer one exam. If I take the mock-up questions from Focus on Force, that's a very good indicator I'm on the right path, because sometimes those questions are harder than those on the actual exam. So you're doing a very good job on those questions. I think that's a very true fact, because in your day-to-day developer work, you don't just write code. You will also be in calls where you try to explain your viewpoint and why that solution is better than other solutions. So it's kind of a combination between communication skills and coding skills. Those communication skills for sure helps you. I think my first advice for every certification is to take enough time to prepare for the certification. For example, if you work full time, try to plan how many hours you will have to study for the certification. This is very important to make sure you cover key topics in the exam. Also, the platform developer one has a trail mix, so be sure you go to the modules on that trail mix. Some of them are hands-on, so you get a chance to mess around with Salesforce features. And from my experience, this is what sticks around in your brain for a long time. Understand Java, or at least Java basics, especially the object-oriented programming principles. As I've said earlier, the knowledge you get there will prove extremely helpful in understanding how Apex works. And I think my last tip on this one is Focus on Force mockup exams helped me a lot and put me in a exam-like situation. The time was ticking and the pressure was rising, and this is a situation that you will encounter in the exam. You want to put yourself in an exam-like situation to know how you will react. I'm honored to make this interview. Yeah. And yeah, I remember when I first discovered Focus on Force, those people that were speaking there, and right now that I'm also speaking like those
Yes.
people, it's a dream come true.